All right. What's up? Okay. Would you mind introducing yourself to all the viewers, please?
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Oricha Aliyu. I'm the Chief Creative Officer of Sporedust Media Limited in Nigeria, and we actually created a short film, which is actually we hope will go viral. It's called Chicken Core: The Rise of Kings. Please check it out. Support us. We're
Nice.
really excited.
Nice, man. Um, can you just tell us a bit about the background for Chicken Core and like what made it particularly interesting for you?
Okay. I think I'll start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Before I joined Sporedust, it was actually one of the main reasons, obviously, was because animation, something we wanted to do. We always wanted to do in Nigeria. So, Chick Core was actually created by one of the founding members of Sporedust. Back then, it was a small animation company by another name before we formed Sporedust. So he created Chicken Core. It was the first thing he showed us. It was an early video. I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but we took it down.
Yeah.
We had old drawings, and it was old animation. We used traditional equipment like paper, scanner, and pencils.
Yep.
So when I saw it, I was blown away by his art because I couldn't draw that way.
Yeah.
And I was really excited, and I saw the potential there. And I'm a story guy normally, so I wanted to know the story behind it. So what happened was when I heard his story, he was actually very. He created a lot of characters, but most of them didn't really have a background story, and he didn't flesh out most of the characters. So what I did was I just took these characters and I started looking at them, and then I developed the story for them. And then I now started trying to how would I say link all the characters together, and the broader universe of Chicken Core. Am I supposed to talk about Chicken Core right now? I can actually go on a little, but
yeah, go for it, man.
If you want to go, but all right then. Chicken Core itself.
Yep.
It's actually what you saw in the short film.
Yep.
If you really pay attention, you'd actually know it's referring to something else that happened before the events that occurred in the short film. And it's something we're going to reveal when we get there, but the universe is actually broader than what you saw. It's not just about chickens. There are different animals there. There,
nice.
And you name it: rats, snakes, pretty much animals that that we see around here in Nigeria. And then we just kind of made a story around it. We chose chickens because, or let me just say, our lead, our technical director, Ekene, he's the one that actually created Chicken Core. He really wanted chickens because they're chickens. You can't really, it's always more fun when you're the underdog and then you rise up to power. So that's how we saw it, and it was really cool from there on.
Yeah. And why did you find using animals appealing?
Well, how would I put? If I was going to say something, how would I explain this? I'd say that we looked at the world and something would appeal to anyone. If you, for instance, now if I was going on YouTube or if I saw a normal animation of somebody walking down the street or doing normal stuff, I'd be like, okay, it's animation of somebody walking down the street. It wouldn't really leave an impression on my mind. When you use animals and you give them as what's the anthropomorphic form, they're moving like men, and they're moving, interacting.
Yeah.
Get interested. And chickens more so than I think any other animal because how would I put it? If we use the term chicken, like to show someone's a coward or something like that. Oh, he's a chicken. So but you see these animals that they bring out courageous, and then they're really into the whole thing, really fighting for something, and then you'd be like, oh, this is actually cute, and it's something that you support the underdog in that situation. So we chose animals pretty much because I think across the board, whether you're a kid or you're an adult, you look at animals and and you see them in that form, and you're actually interested in things like that. So I think that was actually even whether consciously or unconsciously, that was the first thing that came to our minds when we chose animals.
Yeah, definitely, man. I agree with you. Even look at movies like The Lion King, from Disney. There's a reason why that's still really appealing even till today, right? And
yeah.
especially like with the indigenous stories. You know, I read on Cartoon Brew that you guys were talking about the importance of that, and I'll ask questions related to that later. But
okay.
you know, you'll find that of course a lot of that sort of anthropomorphism in the stories. You know, So really good, really good choice. Now, how is this animation being received in Nigeria?
Oh well, okay. Let this move Chicken Core itself out of the way. Animation in Nigeria, okay, it's something like this. You know, most of we know a lot of people, and they're all trying. Nigeria is nothing like it's ever been done before, so they're all trying to push it. We're trying to push it and create that. You know, we're trying to create the industry. It doesn't exist in Nigeria, actually. It doesn't. So up until, and I'm not trying to brag with Sporedust, or maybe I am. I'm not sure.
Nah, go for it, man.
Up until we, up until we released Chicken Core, the quality of animation had never been done in Nigeria, and I didn't know. But you know, our CEO Shino, he knew, and Ekene, our technical director, he knew too. And then I started noticing, because when people came over and they were looking at it, some of them were in disbelief. They said this is not done in Nigeria, it's impossible. Some of them even doubted some of our artists. We actually held a Comic-Con, a Lagos Comic-Con in Nigeria recently.
That's
and then
awesome,
we showcased it. And people actually came, saw our booth, and then they were looking at it. And one guy actually came and said, it's impossible, you guys couldn't have done this in Nigeria. What did you use? Who did it? You know? So, and then we showed him all the, you know, the rough sketches before, you know, before the cleanup and all. We showed him all the stuff, and then he was like, wow. And he saw it for himself. So it was, you know, all the people that have seen this short so far, excuse me, all the people that have seen this short so far are really, really impressed. And we actually met with, when we went, I'll tell you a little story. When we were at TEDx in VI, in Lagos actually, we released the first Chicken Core short before the extended. The CEO of Striker Entertainment is actually a Super Striker comic book. It's an African comic book that he's trying to spread. He actually used to outsource his animation to you know, the Asian countries like Malaysia and some other stuff, Canada. But then, you know, when he actually wasn't at our presentation, he was just out there. I think he just went out to talk to greet somebody, and his representative was watching, and she did not expect to see that animation there. And immediately she saw it, she stood up and ran outside and called it back in. And he actually called us aside, like, this has never been done, and he's been looking for a company like this to do animation, and he didn't think it was ever possible in Nigeria. But what he's seen, he's really, really impressed by what he saw. And then, you know, when you go to YouTube and you see all the comments, you know, I was expecting, because you know how it is. Your animation, you're the hardest critic of what you create. So when you're done, you look at it and like, okay, you know, it's not really what we wanted. But okay, fine, let's just go. But then you know, you see the reactions we get, and they're like, oh, they didn't notice that. Oh, all right, you know. And then people going, and you're really, really impressed. And you know, it pushes you to work harder. And you know, we even when we were celebrating the success of the game, up till now, most of us in Sporedust are still like, we should actually do better. We should actually do much better. And you know, it's right. But you know, the general reactions, everything. You look at the pages and they see that nobody until recently just got one dislike, but nobody has disliked our video. I'm actually very happy about that.
Nah, man, it's really good what you guys are doing. You know, you're pretty much creating the industry there. So, you know what? As you get bigger, there are gonna be people who are gonna dislike it anyways. You just gotta keep doing it. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Thanks.
Now, what do you love most about telling like these type of stories?
Okay. All right. I don't know.
It's like many things.
Let me start from the beginning.
Okay.
Well, when I was younger. Okay, everybody in Sporedust is artistically inclined in some form, some shape. You know, just like, so when I was younger, and it was pretty much everybody in Nigeria back in the 80s. You know, local television used to show a lot of Japanese anime. And back then, you know, There was definitely I'm talking Voltron.
Yep.
And I'm talking the Battle of Planets, and it's actually Gatchaman in Japan, but Battle of Planets. They show it a lot. So I noticed back then that as much as I love the characters, I actually like a good story.
Yep. Definitely.
Actually, I didn't notice back then. I'm sorry. I didn't notice back then that I loved a good story.
Yep.
I didn't notice back then I loved a good story. And I think it's when I say my teens, and then I look back and I was like, okay, and then you see some animation that's actually good, but you're not really interested. I'm like, okay, I actually love a good story. And it probably because I used to draw when I was much younger. I used to be a really I was aspiring to be an artist when I was much younger.
Yeah.
So anything I found, I'm talking books, exercise books, like homework books, novels, anything I see in the house, I just draw it. And usually I didn't just scribble. I used to draw a story that linked from one page to the other. Nice. So I'm flipping pages and story continues. And I didn't notice that I was really, really into that kind of stuff. Yeah. So when I basically when I grew older, I started reading a lot. And back then I used to read a lot of encyclopedias, and I do, when I see something that's actually very, very interesting, I do a lot of research on it, and I'm like, okay, how do they come about it? Like Greek mythology, African mythology. Yeah. It's really, really something that it inspires you to think differently. And it's not just I'm thinking it's not just research itself. It's probably not just animation itself. So I can say my influences can come from music, and it can come from movies, because almost everybody here is into the martial arts movie thing. It's just crazy. We grew up on it, and it tells in the animation. So it's not just it's really we're actually pushing for the African culture. Yes. We're really pushing it. But if you see something that probably not African that goes inside, it's what influenced Sporedust in the first place, and we just can't do without it. But yes, the primary aim right now, we have a lot of African stories. We've been watching, we've read stories that have read to us, and we love these stories when we're growing up. And now we can find some form in between to tell these stories, even if it's through chickens or whatever it is that we're using to tell these stories and the morals behind these stories. It's pretty much the whole genesis of what Sporedust, what sprung of the Sporedust brand. If I may put it that way, though. Yeah. So these kind of stories are going to be told more often.
Yep. Yeah, man. Seriously, I'm nodding my head because that's why I contacted you, man. Because that's essentially what I've believed as well.
Okay.
Similar things growing up, like was told all these old stories from our culture, and a lot of the indigenous communities. They're worried that the stories won't be passed on, and a lot of the stories are dying. So animation is such a great way to just bridge that gap between the youth and the elders.
This is the next best thing actually. And in Nigeria, we have apart from we have our movies, and it's doing well.
Yep.
I'm not a fan of our Nigerian movies because but it's doing well. The world loves it, and I can't fault them.
Yep.
But it's now. I think this age, this generation now, we're trying to change things in Nigeria, and we're trying to make people notice these things. So what happens is that we now tell our own stories the way through this medium of animation, and we feel it's never been done in Nigeria before. We might as well do it. Now it's just right now we're actually in plans to try and we're meeting with people to see if this industry can actually be built in Nigeria. And it's like you said, all these stories are getting lost at the wayside, and you need to find another medium to express itself. So I think animation is just definitely one of the things that comes right off your head.
Definitely.
If you ever want to tell a story like this,
yeah. Now, how do you guys go about funding your project?
Okay. Right now, for the short.
Yep.
We actually pulled it from our own pockets.
Awesome.
We're proud of it. That's actually why that's pretty much everybody just did. And anyone who could contribute just put it into the project. But for future projects now, we're actually looking for hopefully maybe a venture capitalist or investors in general. We made provisions for them to look at the structure of our company and invest in this movement. Recently, yesterday, we had a forum discussing the issues that we went through. And we had a lot of issues. I'm not even going to. Nigeria, first and foremost, Nigeria has a problem with power. I don't know if you met any Nigerians. It's one of the stories. They wanted to tell you a story about Nigeria. I'm sure one of the stories they will tell you is that Nigeria suffers from a lack of power, and it really dogged us during the creation of the It was very, very, it was tasking. But then when you finished, you appreciate it more. You have a new story to tell. We'll probably have to make something about that in the future too. So. But yes, it's one of the things that we hope that we can get somebody else to invest in this company. Not just our company. There are other startups in Nigeria as well.
Definitely.
Who need the funding as well. And this industry has to be built. And if whether we're at the forefront or somebody else is, it doesn't really change the fact that it has to be built.
Yeah.
We're really looking forward to it.
Definitely, man. And have you guys looked into crowdfunding?
Yes, actually we have. It's one of the options. It's one of the options we have. But with these things, you can be the opinion of one person Sporedust. Actually, let me just say, we're a bunch of partners that own Sporedust.
Yeah.
So it can be the opinion of one person to look that way, and then two other people would say no. So it's something that we still have to deliberate on.
Yeah.
And if it ever comes down that I'm cool with that. I have no problem funding this funding. If there are alternative sources of funding, you just have to choose what's best. And let me just say it this way: offers are coming.
Yep.
And I'm just trying to weigh which one actually makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying it's offered, but it's definitely there, and we'll definitely look.
That's great to hear, man. Really positive news. Now, okay, we've already kind of talked about the current state of the animation industry in Nigeria. Non-existent, but you guys are at the front of it. Who would you say is your target audience? With your films.
Okay. Okay. I'd say if we had a target audience, right now, I'd say it's pretty much a general thing. I think we want everyone to just come and look at our stuff. Whether you're old or you're young, just watch it. Just you know what I'm saying. So
yeah, man.
But there will be definitely projects in the future where we're targeting kids with this, and maybe by the wayside, parents will be like, okay, they want their kids to watch something like this. So that's also one thing. Okay, for instance, now I think we're actually going to in the future we're actually going to work on something a little bit more adult centric. If I use that word. Yes. So it's when I say adult centric, I actually mean it's going to be the theme around the story. Probably adults will be able to understand it better.
Yeah.
So it's something that's not just it's not just going to work on, let's say, okay, this is for kids, animation is for kids, and anything like that. No, we just want people to see the animation can be used with different types of things, whether it be adverts, music videos, things like that. Just open your mind and see it that way. So it's pretty much a general thing. I'm just going to say our target audience is everyone.
Yeah.
But when it comes, of course, there will be specific projects targeted at different people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. And I guess it's interesting when I think back about a lot of the ancient.
Everyone for now. Just put it up.
Sorry. Whoa.
Sorry. Yeah.
I think the connection went weird.
Can you repeat what you said?
Hello.
Yeah, it just went weird. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just got really fuzzy there for some reason.
Yeah, me too. I noticed it.
Okay, man. Last question. So that we're not here for an hour.
Okay.
What do you wish you were told before starting your own animation company?
What do I wish I was told? Well, how would I put this? Firstly, this question wouldn't really be for me. It would actually be for the CEO. I'll put it this way: he actually started the company, and he's been through a lot. I'm not even going to. I wish I could tell the story, but if you ever decide to do this again, you should actually talk to him about.
Now, is that Shina? Or how do you have
it? Shina.
Shina.
So him and Ekene Agu, they both of them actually started. They actually started Sporedust. No, actually, they started the company before Sporedust was birthed.
Yep.
And when they started, it was really really rough, and the amount of ups and downs they went through. I can't even. Whenever I hear this story, I'm always like, okay, whenever you're down in Sporedust right now, any day that I'm down, and I think, man, when is this thing going to yield something? But before I even finish the word yield, I just think about Shino and what they went through. I'm like, okay, it's nothing compared to through that. It pushes you because it was actually very. I think that if I actually went through what they went through in the past, I might have given up halfway.
Yeah.
I might have just been like, okay, I can't just take another path. But they didn't, and I thank God for that. And we all met, and this thing actually happened the way it did. But let me. I think I'll just say something on their behalf. Well, if there was something that they wish they knew before they started an animation company, is that it's not just about animation. And that one is definitely first thing off the bat. It's actually a business, and you can make as much. It can be the most beautiful stuff in the world. You can animate it, and then people are like, "Oh, that's nice."
Yeah.
And then that's where it lands. They actually did a lot of research, especially Shino. He went through the whole phase of, okay, now I have to stop thinking of animation for this. Now, what is the business side? What is the business of animation? And he went through that whole thing before he even met us. He went through that, and he enlightened most of us, who are just coming into it, how to approach this business in Nigeria. And anybody he meets now in Nigeria, anybody he meets now in Nigeria, he just explains the whole thing to them. And they're all when they people didn't know animation, they're like, oh, can you do a 5-minute animation for me? When they don't know how many frames it takes to do it, all these things, how much they pay per frame, they have no idea. They just think it's something that you just go.
I know, right? It's
animation, So he enlightened a lot of people on the business side of it and how much it takes to, But then he also he also learned a lot along the way, even with within the short, because he too had never done a short this long. And it was first time for him. Within the short, he learned a lot too. And I still say he's probably the best person who could answer this question.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there were some things I wasn't just able, or I didn't want to put, my hands on top of like some financial aspects or the marketing aspects. I just didn't want to touch it. I was like, okay, creative, and I'm just going to be creative about this. Stick to that. So he would be the best finisher. But from what I've said, I think that would be the best accent.
Yeah. No, really, really good point, man. And another thing too. How long did it actually take you guys to produce the short?
It's okay. Wait. Because released it in October.
Yep.
It took us 3 months.
3. And how many people in total worked on it?
Oh, in total?
Yeah.
We had about 25 to 30 people. I'd say 25 to 30 because some people were actually in school.
Wow.
And in university, and they actually work part-time on the project. And they come in and go, and come in and go. So it was kind of, it wavered that way. So and all this, we had to balance our funding, and we had to balance the amount of power being used. So it could be working on a project. I'm just going to highlight something.
Yeah.
It could have been long. It could have been longer. It could have way longer, much better.
Yeah.
If we do some of our files during the production of this, due to power alone, we actually found solutions like temporary solutions for power. I'm talking about UPSs. I'm talking like inverters and power generators.
Yep.
And we use all these things to make up for the lack of power at that time. It was very, very difficult, very tough. But now we can look back and laugh about it. I'm telling you that if it did not work out,
oh man, you got there in the end. You got there in the end. I completely understand though about the power stuff. I used to live in Bangladesh for about 10 years, so yeah, we have power cuts all the time. So I know how it is, man. So you guys did well, for 25, 30 people, 3 months. That's pretty good.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
No, man. Now, thank you very much, man. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this. I'm gonna be talking to you about like other stuff after I finish the recording.
Definitely. You know what's gonna happen? I don't know. Okay, because this is not my. It's actually Bro's Skype account. I actually have my own.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen is we'll probably find a way to make this work where we can be. If anything is coming up or down the works, we can give you a heads up, and then maybe you can link it up with our site, Sporedust.com.
Definitely.
And then we'll definitely have a news feed there, and upcoming projects or anything that's going to be made by us in Sporedust. And if it helps, if you want to see more, is that definitely much more is coming. And we're really happy that the whole world took notice. That was actually the bonus of this, man. Actually, because we were thinking Nigerians, only Nigerians, and probably some Africans, and then everybody else like along the way. But then when we saw what happened at Cartoon Brew, I was so shocked. I was in, and I was like, wow, this is actually happening, and people are actually noticing it around the world. So to hear from you in Australia, this is actually been a pleasure and an honor. And we hope to keep on turning out the animation content that you guys are craving. Africa is coming up, and you guys shouldn't sleep on us. We're coming.
Yeah, man. Look forward to it. Well deserved, yo. Well deserved, man. But thank you again. To all the viewers out there, be sure to check out Sporedust Media and check out Chicken Core if you haven't. These guys are coming up. You're gonna hear more from them, and we wish you best of luck. Yeah.
All right, no problem. It's okay. First, if you want to keep in touch, I just want to say something. I have a blog where I'll probably be talking about some animation, not just animation, pretty much everything that goes on in the daily life, probably in Sporedust and other stuff on the side.
Yeah.
So maybe sports, music, I don't know. Yeah. But it is definitely centered around Sporedust. Sporedust events, anything that happens, and I'll be talking about that. So you can go to our Twitter.com. That's at Sporedust Media. At Sporedust Media. That's the Twitter feed, Twitter handle. Yeah. And you can go to our Facebook. That's the Facebook.com/Sporedust Media. Yes. And then you can actually my Twitter handle is Noah D.
I'm gonna add that to the video before I put it up. Whoa!